Hey guys, just wanted to do this real fast kind of video showing how you can import negatives from a device. And this could maybe be an iPhone camera or a smartphone. And it could also be a fancy camera, like I have a Nikon DSLR hooked up through a USB cable. And I just simply hooked it up to my laptop so that those two devices can communicate. But what I've found over the years is that it's actually really easy to bring these images into a machine with Photoshop. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that really quickly, okay? So if you open up Photoshop, and I have Photoshop 2026 running currently, and then you come over here to File, and then you cruise down to Import, okay? And let's see, Images from Device is what we want to click. And then this box will pop up. And currently there are actually two devices hooked up to my computer. I actually have a scanner, an Epson scanner. So, this is a side conversation, but, so if you want to scan something and bring it into Photoshop, you can just use this same function and bring in, something that you've drawn on or a photograph or, who knows. So, but you can see that D850 is also highlighted here. So I'm going to click this and you can see that all of the photographs that I have recently taken are there. Okay. And so let's see, let's say I want to choose a reasonable location. So I'm going to go to I'm going to create a folder on the desktop temporarily. Okay. And I'm going to call it negatives. Click create, choose. And now I'm just going to simply click download all. Okay. Just watch all of these JPEGs and images make their way in. Okay. So you guys, I wanted to show you an alternative method for importing photos. And this is actually, instead of using Photoshop, we're going to be using another application, which is sort of unsung a bit. And I don't think folks use it enough, but I really happen to like it quite a bit because it's really fantastic for browsing digital assets and taking a closer look at photographs, for example, or getting them off of a device, whether that's a smartphone, an iPhone, or a Nikon DSLR camera. And so it's a really simple thing. You open up Adobe Bridge, and of course you have your Nikon or smartphone connected to your machine through a USB cable. And if you come up here to File and then go to Import from Device, essentially this dialog box will pop up. And it's similar to Photoshop, where I think, in my opinion, it's a good idea to define a location. So I'm actually going to do this again on the desktop, and I'm going to call this one negatives dash two. Okay, and I'm going to click create. So I've defined a new folder or a different folder where I want my images to go. Click choose. And then you're going to click down here, download all. Okay. And the nice thing about this method, I don't know if you guys try it in Photoshop, what you'll notice is that Photoshop will actually try to open up all of those images, which can be really sort of cumbersome and maybe even slightly aggravating. With this method, it just brings the photos into the application and the operation stops there. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to cruise to my Finder so that I can show you guys. Go to the desktop because I know I have a negatives folder there that we've defined, full of like some real fun goodies. So the way that I have my camera set up, I actually, when I shoot an image, it will capture both a JPEG and a .nef file. And a .nef file is essentially a digital negative from a Nikon device, okay? And so a DSLR actually works very similarly to an old school film camera where it has a sensor where an image is being projected on a quote unquote negative. But in this circumstance, it's digitized. And so this is a really amazing file, and you can see even in the difference in size, like a JPEG, which is amazing quality, by the way, through this camera. It's 23.5 megabytes. That's pretty hefty. But the negative of the same exact image is literally twice as big. So there's a lot more information within a digital negative from a DSLR camera. So if you're really interested in shooting pro, this is probably the preferred method. But the real truth is, if you're using a smartphone or an iPhone or a Samsung device, etc., you can get like new cameras or smart cameras are actually incredible quality, and you can do quite a bit with them. The only thing that I would be concerned with is try to choose a setting that isn't like portrait mode or like a vibrant color mode. I think what you want to have when you're shooting a digital negative is something a little bit more baseline and foundational. And then you can bring that quote unquote negative or original file into Photoshop, and then you can work from there. Okay. Okay, so that's enough information, I think, for this quick tutorial, but I wanted everyone to be really clear on how to get the images that you're taking, that you're snapping on your machine or your phone or camera, and how do you get those to your computer. Another way is that you can email them to yourselves. There's always that method, but sometimes that can be a little bit cumbersome because it takes time for the server to process things. Bye, guys.